Good morning, this is Betty, Fancy Grandma. I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy snack. It's going to be cheese crackers. They're better than Cheez-Its because you know what's in them. Anyways, what we're going to do, I've got my cheese in this thing. I always keep it in here because I always make extra cheese. It's all it is. I've got cheddar. I just shredded it. But I like to shred my own. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in this cup. I'm going to press it down there because I like quite a bit of cheese in mine. So anyway, we're going to put that in this. I've got a little tiny blend. It's not a teeny tiny one. It's a medium sized one, but I like to use this little one for this. But you can use your big food processor too. But anyway, we're going to just dump that in there. And what we're going to do next, I've got almond flour. You can probably use other kinds of flours, but I use almond flour because it's supposed to be good for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 3/4 of a cup of that in there. I don't want a complete big cup of it. I want more cheese than I have flour, so I'm going to put about that much in there. Probably about 3/4 of a cup. Put that in there. So what I'm going to do, put the lid on. Grind that up really good. To make, and it is so good. Better for you than potato chips and that stuff you buy because you know what's in it. Okay, I just kind of ground that up in there. Now, what we're going to do, put 2 teaspoons, not very much, just 2 teaspoons of water in that. That's all we're going to put in it. I'll put the lid back on and okay, there you go. It don't take but a minute. Now, I don't know if I can roll it out on here or not. I usually use my bar, but I'm going to try to use. What we're going to do is put some parchment paper down. And it always wants to roll up like that, so what you do is turn it over this way. That way the rolls will stay down. See how nice that is? It don't roll up. You kind of wants to roll up like that. Okay, that's my parchment paper. I'm going to put this on my parchment paper. Dump it out on there. But this don't take long to make, and your kids will literally love it. I love it. I had a subscriber want me to make them, so that's why I'm making them today. Okay, that's the way it's going to look, just like a dough. You can make a half a batch too if you don't want this many, but my paper fell off. So I said I might use some dirt on this counter. I always do it on the bar. Okay, we're going to cut that in two and make about two messes up. Okay, there. Lay this over there. All right, what I'm going to do now, instead of using saran wrap on top of it, I'm going to put instead of using parchment paper, I'm going to use saran wrap because I like to be able to see what I'm doing. I like to roll it really thin. And it's no big deal how you roll it out. I mean, don't have to be perfect. All we're going to do is chop up and just eat them anyway. So what I'm going to do is put some saran wrap on top of that. And in order to hold that down, I'm going to press my stomach, I'm going to hold that down like that. You can press your stomach against it like that a little bit too. But what we're going to do is just roll this out. Real thin. Just really thin. Turn it around, roll it the other way. It's hard to do on this counter. Roll it the other way. But these are so good. And so easy to make. We want them just really, really thin. So I like saran wrap. You can kind of see how thin you're doing it and how they're rolling. saran wrap off of them. And one thing you do have to do is cut this paper off, because in my microwave, I'm going to cook in my microwave. My microwave goes around, the plate does, and if you don't cut this paper off, it won't go around, it hangs up. So I'm going to cut this paper off. It don't have to be perfect, just cut it off. You could even tear it off. I mean, no big deal, so I didn't even tear it off. Okay, that's what we're going to do now, is to take this and put it in the microwave. But this is really thin. Okay, put it in the microwave, and we're going to press 2 minutes. I don't know, you may have to do it more on yours because the microwave is all different, but we're going to 2 minutes. We're going to start it. I'm going to let that run for about a minute, and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Kind of cold out this morning. It was 48 degrees. That's cold for Arkansas. But I've got my pizza cutter. We're going to cut them. It's not no big deal. I mean, you don't have to cut them perfect because you're just going to eat them anyway. They're so good that you'll eat them instantly, so there's no big deal about cutting them straight. I mean, I'll show you in a minute. You just want to let them cook for about a minute. Then we're going to take them out of here. Then we're going to cut them in little squares. They don't have to be perfect. Like I said, we're just going to eat them. It's no big deal. Some people act like you got to make them perfect. Well, I don't think you do. I mean, who cares? And I found a pizza cutter works better than anything. I've tried knives and it just tears them up. The pizza cutter actually cuts it good. Okay, now we're going to cut them the other way. Cut them as big or as little as you want. Okay. Now we're going to put them back in the oven and finish cooking them. And one thing about it, once you take them out of the oven and let them cool, if they still don't feel as crispy as you want, you can just put them back in the oven and cook them a few more minutes. But they are so delicious and quick. Once you try these, you'll be making them all the time. I do. Because they're really good for you, and they're way better than potato chips and all the stuff you buy, because we don't know what they're putting in that stuff. And they're using that oil that's not fit to use. You can look at them, see if they look like they're getting too brown, but these are fine. I have used Parmesan cheese and pepper jack. It's good, but I think the cheddar is better than any of them. I guess that's why they say cheddar is better. Okay, let's see what they look like. I don't think you can see it, the light's too bright, but that's what they're going to look like. Okay, we're going to lay them down here for a few minutes and they're going to cool. Can go ahead and roll out another batch. If you want to, you can just make a half a batch, but I love them so much that I usually make a whole batch, I mean a big batch. When these get cool, they just break apart. See how they break apart? Well, you cut them. they just snap apart where you've used a cutter on them. You taste them. After they get cool more, they'll be really crispy. I'll let them cool a little more while I'm rolling this now. You can use the same piece of saran wrap or you can get a new piece. I'm just going to use the same one I had. Put it on there. Start rolling it out. Some people make these look so hard to make. They're not hard to make. They're so simple. They tell you have to have perfectly square and perfectly rectangle, and I just roll mine as thin as I can roll them and cut them out. Put them in the oven and cut them out. And I'm going to tell you something. If you try to cut them out before you put them in the oven to bake, it grows back together and they won't break apart. It's just like it seals them back up or something and they won't come apart. So you've got to do it like I'm showing you. They don't have to be straight. They don't have to be nothing. Just as fast as you can make them. Just make them pretty thin. Mine's getting a little thing sticking out here. I'm going to pull it back in. Don't like that little thing sticking out there that much. I think that looks good. They're pretty thin. There's a little bit to come off. You want to make them pretty thin. If you can make them a little bit thicker, but I like mine thin because I like them real crispy. So what we're going to do is just cut this paper off again. It's a very simple cracker to make. And it actually tastes, to my notion, kind of like a cheese. It made it even better to me. So we're going to take this and put it in the microwave. Put it right there. 2 minutes on mine. Now you may have to cook yours a little longer or a little less. I don't know what kind of microwave you've got. We're going to start it. Anyway, see how these just snaps apart? You got little crackers? Now if I decided these wasn't crispy enough after I break them apart and they cool, I can put them back in the microwave a little bit. Anyway, there's one batch. See what they look like? See, I've got big ones. I've got some little ones. It don't make a difference how you cut them. You're going to eat them. You can also use them for chip and dips. Go ahead and take it out and cut it up. Like I said, there's no big deal about these. Cut them the way, as much as you can, the way you want to. But make sure you're using pizza cutter because they cut better. They're going to put them back in there for a few minutes, or the rest of the time. Start it again. See how delicious those looks? So crunchy and good. Fast and easy and good for you. Well, you have a very blessed day. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. And you'll be notified when I make another one. So, have a very blessed day. Bye.